Block validation, the process of approving new blocks and adding them to existing blockchains. To understand how this process is done, we need to talk about consensus. In everyday life, you can say that a consensus is a generally accepted opinion or a decision among a group of people. However, this situation can get a little bit tricky if some of the participants of that group are traitors. So they want to maliciously use the situation for their own advantage. One of the examples of such situation is the Byzantine Generals Problem. And if you don't know what that is, then don't worry, I'll try to explain it in a simple way. So let's imagine that there is a fortress. This fortress is surrounded by the armies of 3 different generals, the red one, the blue one, and the yellow one. They all want to attack together, and they can communicate with each other through a messenger that is taking a message from one general to the other general. And the problem in this situation is that one of the generals is the traitor. So let's have a look how a communication between the generals can look like. At the beginning, the blue general is sending a message to the red one to attack. The red general will then kind of forward this message to the yellow general saying, hey, the blue general told me to attack. Then the blue general sends a different message directly to the yellow one saying that they should retreat. So from our perspective, we know clearly what has happened and how the communication was done, and we can point to the blue general as the traitor. However, let's put ourselves in the position of the yellow general and think how else can he or she see that situation. Starting again from the blue general, he sends a message to the red general to retreat. And in this case, the red general actually will be the traitor and will change the message and tell the yellow general, hey, the blue one told me that we should attack. And the message coming from the blue one to the yellow is the original that he sent or she sent to the red one, which is saying that they should retreat. And as you can see, if you don't have enough information or if there are not enough participants in the entire communication, it can be very confusing because only receiving the messages doesn't give you enough data on who actually is the traitor. And luckily, in blockchain, the consensus is a process by which a group of peers or nodes, in this case, thousands, hundreds of thousands of nodes, determine which transactions are valid and which are not. And the amount of the participants and a certain set of rules allows them to take a decision that is truthy, and it will discourage the traitors as well to try to affect the decision and use the situation for their own advantage. You probably heard about the consensus mechanisms. This is exactly the set of rules and the processes, methodologies that are used to achieve the agreement and add the new blocks to the existing blockchains. How do they solve the Byzantine Generals Problem? As I mentioned, through the major group of different nodes, so thousands of nodes, and thanks to the set of rules that allow the block creation. And these rules are also making sure that the traitors are not overtaking the decision making, so they are in the minority. And also, it discourages them to perform malicious actions through a certain barrier of entry. And we will talk about those in details in the next videos, where we will cover consensus mechanisms like proof of work and proof of stake. So the 2 most popular consensus mechanisms in the blockchain technology.